After the opening round of talks, the perimeter looks calm from the outside, but beneath that even surface counters for the next phase are already ticking. Headquarters measure not only political risk, but the cost of every technical incompatibility that, at a critical moment, becomes not a dispute but a full contour failure. Diplomacy steps back into shadow and yields the close-up to engineering. Laboratories, training grounds, and analytic halls take on work no pretty sentence can replace, turning fragile we have agreed into a protocol that survives load, time, and human error. They enter not with a map of a perfect scene but onto a narrow bridge of verifiable convergence. Trust is accepted only with indicators, and compromise counts as live only after a series of real tests. Here it becomes visible that peace is built not by summit speeches but by the discipline of repeatable action. Chloe unfolds two holographic models in front of Mars Eads, energy and material. Behind the laboratory glass, service platforms drift slowly past Mira. The city is not visible whole here, but it is audible in the steady hum of ventilation, shift elevators, and distant transport rings. The experiment stands inside that rhythm, too close to a living world to be only a beautiful formula.
Can your magic fill the void?
Chloe touches the edge of the energy model, not declaration, but a check on emptiness.
Yes. Can your alchemy turn this light into matter?
Mars Eads does not withdraw her palm until the light reaches the mark on the impulse scale.
Maybe. The question is not what we can do individually. The question is, what can we create together?
For a second the material hologram catches the energy 1-2 scales finally in the same plane.
Beautiful. And dangerous.
Mars Eads shifts her gaze from the bright contour to the logline. Danger is already in the figures.
Like anything that's worth it.
Under the laboratory ceiling light rings turn slowly, and formula reflections tremble on the glass table as if the room itself holds the experiment's tension.
Then we set up a joint test. You give a pure magical impulse. I carry out the materialization in phases.
Chloe switches the side panel to joint recording. The interim assessment awaiting impulse tag blinks once.
We log the response of the circuit and the limit after which the connection becomes dangerous.
Chloe runs her finger along the phase scale, each materialization step tied to a time mark.
The criterion is simple. Stable form, without matrix breakdown, in 3 runs in a row.
A medical threshold pops on the side screen. Chloe does not lift her hand from the emergency stop until the figure is reassuring assessment.
And we'll add an emergency brake light if the connection starts to go into uncontrolled resonance.
Chloe does not dim the matrix, waiting until the link names its limit.
Safety is more important than demonstrating power.
Chloe lowers her hand from the publisher. The test is not for the hall.
Then the test will not give a spectacular shot, but a working basis.
Chloe saves the run template, no second version.
And this is exactly what we need for the next cycle.
Mars Eads nods at the matrix where the contour is still warm from the run. Agreement by fact, not gesture.
Let's move on to the facts.
The training contour breathes dry heat, tactical markers burn along the floor, and a short silence hangs in the air before schools are tested.
Do your soldiers use magic in battle?
So Yuri's question lands in a familiar register. For Isabel, magic without discipline is not beauty, it is a lottery.
That brings advantage but demands discipline. What about your warriors?
Isabel shifts her gaze from the instructor's wand to the training lane. The answer is not waiting in theory.
For us, magic is part of the preparation. But we don't rely only on it. The sword and fist will not fail when magic fails.
Sayuri taps the hilt with her finger. Reich School.
Golden words. I teach mine this way too.
Isabel nods at the training tablet at the sector edge. Golden words must land in indicators for her.
Then we include in the training the magic failed mode. 1 round only with a blade and hand-to-hand combat.
In the training sector it smells of heated metal and dust. In pauses between movements the dry ring of blades on the floor coating is distinct.
Fits. We will immediately see where the school is based on discipline, and where on the habit of using the baton.
Sayuri sheathes the blade in one motion. Discipline matters more than display.
And after the cycle we check injury rate and formation stability under load.
The words link failure catch Isabel on an old order. She does not raise her voice, only sets her jaw.
And we'll separately check how soldiers behave when they lose contact with command.
Sayuri clicks the link simulator switch on the dummy, a check without extra words.
Fits. This will immediately show the maturity of the school, not just the technique.
In the far corner of the sector an instructor ticks the register. The ring of steel fades on its own.
If the group does not disintegrate into chaos, then the method is working.
Isabel nods at the instructor's checkmark in the log. Formation on the polygon is already in figures, not words.
Then we will consolidate the best practices into a common training module.
Isabel reaches for the tablet with the charter. She is already hunting the word module in the shared contour.
And we will make it mandatory for mixed units.
After comparative runs, the laboratory and training contours splice into one reporting layer: resilience indicators, rhythm failures, safe power boundaries. Night duty analysts take the first packet of conclusions and route it to headquarters before shift change, so the morning talk starts from verified cost, not school doctrine. Kelvin has arrived. Meeting in Titan's office.
Your ambassadors have prepared the ground well. But ground is not reform. I want to hear it from you. Is the Reich seeking harmony, or a new way to hold half the galaxy without war?
Titan keeps his palm on the table edge between himself and the guest, a projection of borders, not decoration.
Because the Cold War has become a bad calculation. We are spending resources, people, and vassal trust to maintain a fear that no longer gives advantage. But I will not lie. The Reich has not come here to dissolve into your order.
Kelvin shifts his gaze from the map to the register strip. Figures matter more than rhetoric.
Do you think the Empire cannot see that calculation? We pay too. The difference is that what you call discipline often looks to our vassals like a foreign hand on their throat.
Titan steps half a pace back from the console, a question without threat, but without concession.
It can. And your raid habits look no better to our vassals. That is why I am offering not a truce for a report, but a model in which any repeated conflict automatically hurts the side that tried to hide it behind a handsome word.
Kelvin sets a folded mission briefing on the table. Model must become a line, not a gesture.
Model?
Kelvin unfolds a single schematic sheet, 3 points, no extra ornament.
Collaborative management of contested sectors, but without either capital appointing itself senior. Exchange of magic schools, but not recruitment through education. Joint research windows on the external nodes of the astral and void. Without mutual access to closed circuits and without the right to sell this as the other side surrender.
Through the panoramic window, the first dawn train slides into the strip. Kelvin does not look at the view, only at Titan.
So the Reich wants void results without entering void, and the Empire is supposed to call that trust?
Titan smiles at the corner of his mouth, but his fingers do not leave the void mode console.
And the Empire wants to understand the astral without direct entry into the astral. So let us call this not trust, but a limited verification window. That is more honest.
Titan considers.
The risk is huge. One failure, and both councils will say we open the door to the enemy.
Kelvin does not look away. The stake is named aloud. Nowhere to walk back.
Risk is the price of the future, but it is not paid with slogans. If the window becomes a channel of influence, I will close it against the Reich myself. Are you ready to close an Imperial bypass the same way?
Beyond the wide office window, the city's dawn contour stretches, and cold light lays even geo-indicator bands across the control panels.
Then, according to the new model, we immediately cut the two most toxic circuits: mutual raids and disruption of the vassals' logistics.
A draft scale quarter without escalation flashes on the console. Titan does not hurry to confirm.
I agree if logistics disruption cannot be hidden under the word inspection, and a raid under the word response. Without that, harmony will remain rhetoric for councils and channels.
Kelvin nods at the same scale. Without it, the talk stays ceremony.
The criterion is a quarter without escalation at the border and without hidden retaliatory strikes.
Titan traces the mark with his finger. The criterion must read from the border and from headquarters.
And with the obligatory publication of brief summaries for both councils on the same day.
Kelvin waits for a mirrored publication date, 1 day for both councils.
Then same-day publication is mandatory. If the Reich and the Empire release two versions, the vassals will choose the one that makes shooting easier.
Titan writes publication in 1 day, in the draft, mirrored for both councils.
Resistance will not disappear, but it will be harder for it to pretend that the partner hid the truth first.
Kelvin releases the table edge. He does not pretend the internal dispute between blocks is settled.
If we maintain the cycle, we will move on to the next package of concessions.
Titan runs his palm along the register strip. For him, transparency is also a restraint weapon.
The first real marker of the new model is not that we agreed, but that both sides can survive an inconvenient truth without a retaliatory strike.
Right after the office closes, a compressed strategic memorandum goes to the shared regulations. Mission goal breaks into verifiable steps, execution windows, and personal responsibility by contour, so by the day cycle, harmony stops sounding like a slogan and starts working as a managed program. May and Bloom stand at the laboratory table.
Do your engineers use magic to stabilize the astral tunnels?
Bloom touches the sandbox's clear lid. The tunnel exists here only in an isolated contour.
Magic is only part of it. The main thing is accurate calculations. Magic without engineering is chaos. Engineering without magic is dead schemes.
May pulls up the calculation curve on her tablet, the line trembles where impulse has no threshold.
It's similar for us. The portal will not open without magical power, but we found a way to duplicate it cybernetically.
Bloom points at the duplication diagram, the arrow bypasses the live channel, runs through the cyber contour.
Cybernetic magic. It's risky. Magic requires intention, not just energy.
May raises a brow, but her finger stays on the intention line, without it the diagram is dead.
Mars Eads is living proof that metal and magic go together.
Behind the glass a test subject silhouette flickers. Bloom does not say the name aloud, the sample speaks for itself.
Mars Eads is unique, but you're soldiers.
Bloom does not open full access, only the sandbox layer, locked from outside.
Some pay a price for this.
The pause lasts exactly as long as May needs to say price without pressure.
Just like our engineers, when they try to replace magic with pure calculation. Maybe we should join forces.
Bloom smiles. The laboratory hall is filled with the soft hum of stabilizers, and thin indicators run along the walls, tinting the air a pale blue technical half-light.
Then I give you access to our cyber stabilization module, but only in the sandbox.
Bloom clears the crisis assessment field contour lock from the panel, only the sandbox remains.
I accept it, but as a control regime, not a gift of trust. In response, I will show engineering limitations, where magic breaks calculations instead of strengthening.
A brief smile does not reach her eyes, professional courtesy.
The result is a working hybrid protocol without critical failures on the test bench.
May jabs the stylus at the critical failure block, for her the outcome is in the figure, not applause.
And with clear instructions for engineers, so that the protocol does not depend on lone geniuses.
One measurement scale on both screens, nowhere for the dispute to hide.
Right. Repeatability is more important than rare perfect results.
Bloom nods at the repeatability scale, a perfect spike does not interest them.
Then we will add a training package and certification of teams at the stand.
May opens the certification draft on the shared screen, without shift signature the protocol does not leave for the corridor.
Without preparation, any hybrid will turn into a risk.
Bloom ticks training package, without it the sandbox becomes a trap.
And with preparation, the next generation will return to normal.
How May just fixed next generation norm in certification returns May to the training shift in the engineer's Highland Fief. There the sandbox was the last wall before the field, one hybrid protocol per shift either earned a shared certificate or the shift left without corridor signature. Guild engineers training bay, astral fief, thin air, cooling hum, on the bench 2 contours, magic as impulse and numbers as limit.
In the field you don't take. Almost matched.
The instructor draws his hand from the console, impulse is not for display. May clenches her stylus until her knuckles pale, in the bay only the cooling hum is audible.
Then the hybrid clears both contours in one shift or gets no label. Without a joint certificate we don't open a corridor.
May jabs at the second contour on the bench, numbers, not a slogan. On the shift register an empty line blinks for the second signature.
A lone genius can cut corners.
The instructor looks at the bench, not at faces, a check, not punishment. May turns to the register, 2 independent signatures must stand there.
Genius without repeatability is a personal victory, not engineering. An empty instruction if 2 independent shift signatures don't stand behind it.
By the evening cycle the engineering and combat tracks stitch into one test schedule, and duty teams run a synchronized contour check on the same recorded time, reaction, discipline, recovery. After that splice the next dispute no longer rests on school authority, because numbers speak before voices. Sayuri and Isabel look at the training polygon. On the screens before them spin test sparring indicators and the rotation diagram for mixed links. On the screen 2 indicator sets, and Isabel sees the same old error, 2 correct channels without a shared beat.
If we field mixed pairs at all, we need one team rhythm, not parallel rulebooks.
Sayuri nods at the rotation diagram, a shared beat is not concession for her, but condition.
Then we define link rules now and assign clear lead responsibility in each pair.
Sayuri turns the pair diagram to the screen, the lead in a link leaves no blank line.
Your fighters hold formation rigidly, ours move faster in small links. The weak point is tempo synchronization.
Her gaze on Isabel, a check, not a challenge.
What about yours?
Isabel is silent exactly a second longer than courtesy requires, checking whether Sayuri will fill the gap.
We focus on fighter initiative and autonomous decisions inside a link. It gives speed, but increases the risk of desync with heavy formation.
Sayuri spreads her palms, school initiative is not hidden behind her back.
Speed is useful only while it does not break a unified command contour.
Fingers stay off execute text first, then action.
The dispute is as old as time. Maybe we should have a joint exercise? Let's see whose approach is more effective.
Sayuri spreads her hands, exercises, not a duel challenge.
Do you want my soldiers to fight yours? This is called war, not harmony.
Isabel smiles without warmth, her fists are not clenched, not a decision yet.
This is called sharing experience. No blood, only discipline, command, and tactics.
Isabel considers.
I will think.
On the polygon, fine grit crunches underfoot, projectors cut the space in hard cones, and every shadow looks part of the training diagram.
Then we do the first sparring with mixed pairs, your and our fighters in one team.
Isabel traces the polygon markings with her eyes, the mixed link is already in her head, not the register.
This way we will check the compatibility of schools and not have a flag competition.
A short breath from Sayuri, the decision is not in the register yet, already in the body.
The criterion is the speed of decision-making under stress and zero disruption of discipline.
Isabel touches the console for the first time after the word, not before.
And we log recovery time after the round. Otherwise you only see technique, not endurance.
Sayuri jabs the recovery time field on her tablet. Endurance must not be confused with technical flash.
Fits. We need fighters who can keep the pace longer than one fight.
A short breath from Isabel, the decision is not in the register yet, already in the body.
If both schools improve their score, the debate about whose is better will lose its meaning.
Sayuri's gaze on Isabel, a check, not a challenge.
Then the exercises will become an investment, not a political show.
Isabel nods at the exercise diagram, show is off the agenda, only indicators remain.
And this will be the best answer to the skeptics.
By the evening cycle, the engineering and combat tracks stitch into one test schedule, and duty teams run a synchronized contour check on the same recorded time, reaction, discipline, recovery. After that splice, the next dispute no longer rests on school authority, because numbers speak before voices. Sky sits in a dark room, the candles burn with strange light. Rebecca enters without knocking.
Did you see my death?
Rebecca does not move in the dark room, only the candles crackle is audible.
I see a lot of death. Yours is not the brightest.
Sky does not open her eyes, answer given without theater.
This is comforting.
Rebecca grips the edge of her cloak, comfort did not reach her face.
I'm not giving any consolation. I'm telling the truth.
Candle gleam runs across her closed lids, the answer is counted inside, not for the hall.
Then tell me, will I die at the hands of the enemy or from old age?
Rebecca watches the candle flame, waiting not for comfort but a term.
From someone you consider a friend.
Rebecca freezes.
Is this a threat?
The word threat hangs between them. Sky has not yet turned away her glowing pupils.
This is foresight. It can be changed. If you know.
Sky does not look away from Rebecca. Foresight offered as duty, not verdict.
Is that why you're in Lotus? To give people a chance?
Rebecca nods slowly. The question of chance matters more than the answer about death.
I'm in Lotus to see. What they do with the visions is their choice.
In the science block, relays click softly, ozone hangs above the table, and glass flasks throw a dull amber gleam.
Let's add an interpretation rule. The forecast sets the decision window, but does not replace political choice.
Reflections of formulas tremble on the glass, the room holds the pause.
Right. A forecast is only useful when translated into a specific time-based action.
Sky draws her stylus along the time-based action field. A forecast must become a step, not a title.
Then we add a range of uncertainty to each forecast so as not to pass off probability as fact.
Rebecca traces the uncertainty range field, a figure before politics.
This will reduce political decisions made on the illusion of absolute accuracy.
Sky uncurls her fingers on the armrest, the illusion of absolute accuracy is released.
And we introduce double confirmation based on external data before launching strict measures.
Rebecca ticks double confirmation, threshold before emotion.
We will add a note about the cost of the error to the protocol so that no one hides behind the wording.
Sky marks the protocol line, responsible by name, no second version.
The higher the price, the stricter the threshold for launching the solution.
Rebecca raises the cost of error scale in the protocol, the threshold climbs with the price.
And every decision after the forecast must have a person responsible by name.
The light rings under the ceiling turns slower, they wait for the command.
Then the vision will cease to be a convenient alibi.
Rebecca releases the edge of her cloak, alibi will not pass in protocol anymore.
And it will become what it should be, a warning, not a sentence.
Apollonia shows Marzides the archive of heavenly resonances.
They weigh more than they look in the setting.
Marzides keeps her hand on the archive edge, the setting lies, the weight does not. Marzids' line about the weight of the heavenly resonance archive catches her on that skyward line once written not about a stone but about her body, as the first cyborg with magic and a soul, read in heaven as A.T.R in creation's nature.
Doctrine calls this a threat to order. Destruction.
Fingers crush the register edge, the line is not yet a knife.
I see a living person. The line must not be a blind knife.
A gaze on the silhouette behind the glass, not on the seal.
Then choose the ground before the pen becomes law.
Evangel looks at the seal of doctrine, not at the face behind the glass.
I will remember. Heaven can call love of purity a verdict.
Memory keeps the cold of heaven's hall ventilation, not a workshop, but the same dry honesty of air.
Because the price of others' signatures is already in them, not only brilliance.
Apollonia runs her finger along the archive edge, the price of signatures is not in the shine.
Then why show me this now? This isn't an audience for ornament.
Marzids looks at the register, not the stone, waiting for a line, not shine.
Because tomorrow these resonances enter the same register as your clearances. If I stay silent about the price, I become decor.
Apollonia looks at the clearance register, not the display, tomorrow the same table.
In Lotus we called it a checkable chain. A stone may hold memory, but the hall pays for what can be taken off in words.
Marzids enters checkable chain in the line, stone memory under control of words.
That's why I'm asking not to understand, but to verify. What you leave on the table, a facet fact or a legend of shine.
Apollonia sets her palm beside the stone, not on it, the dispute is about fact, not warmth.
Fact, legend is an embassy debt forever.
Marzids looks away from the glare, choosing the line.
Good. 1 minute of silence. And I read that as consent to a shared standard. Another signature isn't prettier than yours if there's no line behind it.
Apollonia counts the second of silence, assent without confession.
Then the next check isn't in heaven. It's in protocol. What we move from, moving, to, measurable.
Marzids opens the measurable field in the template, heaven yields to protocol.
Exactly. I'm not waiting for confession. I need a mutual template. So resonance doesn't become an excuse for haste.
Apollonia opens the empty mutual template field, no confession in this hall.
A template without deadlines is ornament again.
Marzids presses facet deadline, later does not remain in protocol.
The facet has a deadline, while the stone is on the table. After that, it's someone else's risk, not my secret.
Apollonia lifts her palm from the table, the facet deadline is named, the secret removed.
Then I keep my hand on the register, not the stone. The stone hints. The register makes everyone pay the same.
In the tale of their exchange about register versus stone, Apollonia hears Marzids' insistence that everyone pay the same not as yielding to discipline but as the old workshop truth, memory of the price first, shine afterward. Workshop of the Reich Jewelers Guild in Apollonia's student years. In Half-Light Masters test not a stone's brilliance but whether the work carries memory of the price of future decisions. On the table lie blanks for diplomatic contour signs, things negotiation halls will see and that will enter the history of others' signatures.
A stone must shine.
The mentor passes her palm over the blank, brilliance is not yet proof.
And remember?
In the workshop the even hum of cooling is audible, here time is measured by precision, not speech.
Remember first, otherwise brilliance lies.
Apollonia touches the grinding wheel, colder than brilliance seems.
Then the facet holds meaning in place. You cannot remove it without breaking the message.
She returns to the table with the same criterion, if the cut does not hold meaning, the stone lies, and heaven's resonances in this room are not decoration but memory for foreign signatures.
These stones are not just decorations. They keep memories. The magic of Ray is sealed in each one.
Apollonia turns her gaze from the display glare, memory matters more than demonstration.
I feel warm.
Apollonia does not touch the display case, the stone is not in protocol yet.
It is your soul that responds. The metal doesn't stop her from feeling.
Apollonia does not touch the display soul's response, not metal's.
Sometimes it gets in the way.
Marzids tightens her cyber joint, steel sounds louder than resonance.
Only if you allow it. Ray's magic does not distinguish between flesh and steel. She only sees intention.
Apollonia nods at the register, intention must become a line, not a whisper.
Then intention must be visible here too, not private confession, but a line you can verify.
Marzids opens the intention row in the register, confession without a line will not pass.
A verifiable line for a stone is the facet. For the hall, it's what stays on the table after we leave.
For a second the room is quieter, even the air seems less decorated, resonance stones lie as evidence, not props.
I'm not afraid of magic. I'm afraid of the habit of calling the handsome thing honest.
Marzides looks at the facet, beautiful and honest, kept apart by gaze.
That habit is the riot that later won't fit in protocol.
In this talk of intention and whom the stone trusts, Apollonia again hears the break of that riot evening when a street mistake cost too much. For an inner eye, for a moment rises the evening of a riot on the Reich frontier, not in a diplomatic contour where error is closed with a protocol amendment, but where you pay with the street, streets settle in smoke, guard contours light at cellar entrances, and simple road barriers become a line where every step can be wrong forever. She hides resonance crystals in her cloak lining to carry out of the besieged quarter not valuables but names of those who could no longer be brought back. The coat on the stone must survive smoke better than a human voice.
It's just a stone.
In street smoke the crowd's cough drowns even cries. The stone in the lining is heavier than gold.
A simple stone is the most convenient liar. That is why I seal memory in it that cannot be polished to safe beauty.
The Jewelers Guild stated it shorter. The work is a carrier of history. Without memory it only ornaments another's signature. The memory of the riot boils down for her to a rule of practice. A simple stone fakes confidence, so harmony here must be sought not in a pretty metaphor but in whether Marzides will hear an honest line. The map on the floor floods for a moment with a colder layer, as if the room itself checks whether the talk carries them back into the perimeter smoke.
If an honest line sounds harsh, I still prefer it to handsome lies.
Marzides holds her palm over the resonance, no flair, no plea to the hall.
Then keep harshness as a tool. Lies love to soften edges. That's where they hide the signature.
Apollonia does not soften her tone, lies seek rounded edges.
I want harmony to happen.
Marzides draws her palm from the table edge, beyond the glasses city. Here harmony is in a line.
Then hold on to this thought. She will help you.
Resonance in her palms subsides slowly, it does not vanish, it settles. Apollonia exhales as if she had finished the cut.
If harmony hurts, I still prefer pain with a line I can repeat tomorrow.
Marzides underlines a line in the register, tomorrow it must read the same.
Repeatability is what separates craft from mood. Mood dies when the hall empties.
In the cartography hall the map flickers layer by layer, and colored glints move on the dark floor as if the borders themselves change breath with the system.
The map speaks more honestly about the limits of force than any combat readiness summary.
A star chart on the wall, she does not confuse reference with order.
But a limit without a responsible word turns into regulation faster than any signature.
The dispute over the map and how fast paper closes a person breaks off for Apollonia on the night of Ashana's arrest, where regulation outran the human word. The night of the arrest boils down for her to one impulse now: do not repeat the hall where regulation closed a person before the human word, hence the next step is about closed practice without spectators. Night of Ashana's arrest. In a narrow cryoblock corridor security closes the procedure by regulation while those nearby try to wrench at least one human word before the capsule seals. Lamps give even merciless light. Here they do not argue symbolism, they count seconds to seal and check stamps as if human dignity could be packed into an inventory line.
Give her a last word.
Evangel presses her palm to the capsule's cold wall, seconds to seal.
Protocol does not provide for it.
The officer looks at the tablet, not the face. Regulation matters more than voice.
Then remember yourself. Ritual without accountability is beautiful form violence.
Ashana looks into the ceiling camera, a word for memory, not for protocol.
You exceed authority.
Evangel does not release the capsule wall. Authority and the human being argue in 1 second.
Authority ends where the human signature under violence begins.
Then we will conduct a practice for you with heavenly resonances without spectators and doctrinal noise.
Apollonia dims excess light in the hall. Practice without doctrinal noise.
If the soul responds consistently, I can base my field decisions on that.
Marzides nods. Practice without spectators accepted as condition, not concession. Marzides drops her shoulders half a step. Field verification was named aloud.
The finale is that you maintain the resonance without external recharge, and without a rollback due to the condition.
Apollonia watches the resonance curve. Finale without rollback, not applause.
And after the session, I will compare this with field reactions to understand the applied value.
Marzides compares marks on her tablet with the curve on the table. Applied value still ahead.
Right. Harmony is tested not in the hall, but in decisions under pressure.
Apollonia exhales. The resonance settles like stone after the final cut.
If the response continues in the crisis, I will recognize the method as working.
Marzides clenches her fist and releases it, the only bodily surrender in the whole talk of the stone.
Then we will be able to scale the practice to the entire Lotus circuit.
Apollonia does not raise her voice. Scale only after field verification.
Before stretching that across the whole Lotus circuit, remember the first hall. There a wrong sign was not aesthetics, it was a grounds.
Marzides touches the engraving on the register, the first hall still lives in her body.
I remember. That is why I do not simplify what you cannot scrub out later without war.
Marzides' reminder of the first hall, folded into her answer to Apollonia about what cannot be simplified, returns Apollonia to the cultural diplomats session between contours to the hall of distrust and etymological locks on the engravings. Apollonia's first session is cultural diplomat between Reich and Empire contours, already in the years of expansion and settled interblock contact. In a hall of distrust, every word is checked as illegal grounds, and any wrong symbol reads as risk for two powers. On the tribunes, not ornaments, etymology fixators, every engraving must match both sides' official dictionary or the translator becomes a grounds.
A political hall is not a jeweler's workshop.
Kelvin looks at the tribune. Here stone is replaced by engraving with a dual dictionary.
True. Here precision matters even more. One wrong symbol breaks trust between two powers.
Apollonia runs her finger along the etymology lock. The symbol is not yet agreed.
Simplify the sign.
The delegate slides the tablet back. Simplification sounds like an invitation to war.
Simplification without verification is a signature under a future war.
Memory of the first hall between contours reminds, a wrong symbol is a grounds for two powers. She already hears how Marzides phrases a shift of tone stronger than an order.
And this will change the tone of negotiations more than many orders.
Titan looks at the alchemical formulas Chloe has traced in the air with magic.
Are you saying that alchemy can create matter from the void?
Titan looks at the formula contour in the air, a question about void, not the throne.
Not from the void, from the astral. It's not the same thing.
Chloe separates two layers on the table. Void and astral no longer stick in one label.
And from void?
Titan draws his palm back from the hologram. Reich secrets are not his field of inquiry.
Void has nothing to give. It's empty. Only emptiness can be created from emptiness.
Chloe dims the matrix backlight. Void is not for spectacle.
Our scientists argue about this.
Titan folds his arms. The Empire's dispute still without demonstration.
Let them argue. I will show them, if they are ready to learn.
Chloe does not raise her voice. In the laboratory, volume does not replace protocol.
Are you ready to reveal Reich's secrets?
Titan does not touch the formula in the air. He hears the answer first.
Reich's secrets are not mine. Mine are alchemy, and she needs students. Otherwise, she will die.
Chloe does not hide her notebook. Reich's secrets are outside her mandate.
I'll arrange a meeting with Drive. Bloom, have you already met?
Titan logs the meeting with Bloom and the cycle schedule, not in an appendix.
Yes, she has a sharp mind, and she's not afraid to ask questions.
Even ventilation hum runs along the corridor. Duty silhouettes pass in the matte panels in the same service rhythm.
The best quality for a scientist.
Titan nods at the formulas in the air. A scientist who argues is needed.
Then the inspection schedule for the cycle isn't an appendix to the paper, it's part of the same commitment.
Titan folds the appendix draft. One signature, checks in the body.
Without repeated verification, even a correct protocol quickly turns into a formality.
Chloe ticks repeatable check. Formality without a cycle will not pass.
Then we immediately form a joint map of paths, where the astral gives an advantage, and where it creates vulnerability.
Titan separates two layers on the map. Advantage and vulnerability side by side.
I support. Without a common map, we will argue about terms rather than manage route risk.
Chloe draws the stylus along the shared corridor. Terms yield to route.
And we add a rule for urgent correction of corridors if Sky's forecast diverges from actual field data.
Titan enters urgent correction. Sky versus field data mismatch without pause.
A discrepancy between the forecast and the data should grounds a review immediately.
Chloe marks a clause in the draft, waiting for the mirror line from the Imperial side.
And without political pauses until a convenient moment.
Titan locks the until a convenient moment field, a gray zone window in protocol.
Then the route circuit will become controlled rather than reactive.
Chloe saves the route contour draft. Reactivity pushed outside the field.
And this will reduce the cost of any mistake before it becomes a disaster.
Titan traces the corridor on the map. Error must cost less before it becomes catastrophe.
With such a regime, we have a chance to maintain the momentum of the agreement.
Sky looks at the astral chart Melanie has laid on the table.
These lines, they look like threads of fate.
Sky passes her palm over the threads, for her fate is the geometry of intersections.
Astral currents. Navigators see them as roads.
Melanie does not argue the metaphor. She matches currents to the navigator's register.
And I see where they intersect. There are events there. Fateful.
Sky highlights 3 nodes. For her, an intersection is louder than the word fate.
Show me.
Sky traces the map with her finger, and several points begin to glow.
Here, here, and here. If your ships pass through these nodes, harmony will become a reality. Or a disaster. It all depends on the choice.
Sky keeps the nodes highlighted. Choice stays with the helm, not the prophet.
Do you see both options?
Melanie looks at the map, node still without risk color.
I see possibilities. And those who hold the helm choose.
Sky draws her finger from the node, choice left to the helm.
Then I will try to choose correctly.
Melanie closes the priority layer. Route noise has receded.
Let's add an interpretation rule. The forecast sets the decision window, but does not replace political choice.
In the meeting room, the light is dimmed to a warm spectrum, and projection contours pulse faintly on the walls, making the space chambered and dense.
Right. A forecast is only useful when translated into a specific time-based action.
Melanie enters decision window in the template, not a slogan, a field.
Then we add a range of uncertainty to each forecast so as not to pass off probability as fact.
Sky enters uncertainty range on the ops sheet. Probability does not pretend to be fact.
This will reduce political decisions made on the illusion of absolute accuracy.
A short breath from Melanie. The decision is not in the register yet, already in the body.
And we introduce double confirmation based on external data before launching strict measures.
Sky sets a shared stop on the feeds. One jitter blocks all three.
And we introduce a node priority map so that critical routes do not drown in the general noise.
Melanie marks priority nodes in color. The noise recedes.
Then the forecasts will be immediately related to the real value of the corridors.
Sky touches the corridor cost layer. Route price before fleet politics.
And decisions will become faster because the order has already been set.
Melanie checks course on her tablet. The figure does not argue with politics.
And there is less chance that panic will replace analysis.
Sky lifts her hand from the feed stop. A tremor on one channel no longer pulls the rest.
Fine. So we can lead the fleet through this uncertainty.
Lotus Night Protocols close its shift in with notes on risk forks and choice nodes, and by morning the Great Council Hall receives not a scatter of personal readings but an assembled priority map with decision thresholds and the price of error, the format in which political bargaining can still be held inside the system. The Great Hall. All 10 Reich envoys, Kelvin, Melanie, Chloe, Rebecca, Apollonia, May, Sayuri, Livia, Irma, Ruby, and Lotus members, Marzides, Isabel, Sky, Bloom, plus Titan.
10 ambassadors. Everything is here. This is the first step towards harmony between the two halves of the galaxy.
Titan scans 10 seats at the table. Harmony starts with a head count.
Victory is when we leave with a signed agreement on harmony.
Kelvin does not raise his voice. For him, victory is a line in the scroll, not a toast.
There will be an agreement. The question is the price.
Titan looks at the scroll in Kelvin's hands, the price not yet named.
The price is mutual concessions. We are ready to open the astral for your scientists in the agreed sectors. Are you ready to give us Mira access to Void data and external nodes without logging into Void?
Kelvin marks a clause in the draft, waiting for the mirror line.
Void as a weapon.
Marzid sets her palm on the table edge. Void spoken without demonstration.
The astral is our heart. We take no less risk.
Kelvin touches the astral symbol on his tablet, the Reich's heart in the risk zone.
Risk is not a reason for a deal.
Isabel looks at Kelvin. For her, a deal does not yet follow from the word risk.
Risk is the only reason to trade. If there were no risk, you would have destroyed us long ago.
A pause.
Do you have a draft agreement?
Titan does not touch the console, waiting for the scroll, not ceremony.
Yes, and he is waiting for your signature.
Rare orbital traffic lights show at the observation glass. Inside, only the even hum of equipment and the dry cleanliness of technical air remain.
I'll look into it. I'll give you an answer tomorrow.
Titan keeps his palm on the console edge, boundary named.
Then by morning we form a bilateral group under the agreement. Lawyers, military and navigators in one circuit.
Kelvin passes the role list into the shared contour: lawyers, military, navigators.
And there are no behind-the-scenes edits behind the group's back, just a general register of disagreements.
Titan opens the disagreement registry, edits only in the shared field.
By tomorrow's meeting, a framework must be agreed upon: boundaries, control and sanctions for failure.
Kelvin marks 3 nodes on the release diagram: 1 text, 3 carriers.
And a separate point about crisis communication between you and me without intermediaries.
Titan enters 30 minutes in the template, a window without ceremony.
I support. At the peak of escalation, time is more important than ceremony.
Kelvin enters 30 minutes in the crisis template, time matters more than ceremony.
No more than 30 minutes for initial confirmation, or the window washes out.
Titan fixes the confirmation threshold, otherwise escalation will wash out the window.
If we follow this rule, it will become much more difficult to disrupt the system.
Kelvin does not remove his access gloves, the contour is still foreign, even with agreement.
So, this is where we begin a new stage.
Titan rolls up the scroll answer defer crisis assessment, boundary already in the protocol body.